Hello dear student, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am conveying my greetings to every one of you, and I wish that everyone is fine and healthy along with your daily life's activities. May you be all protected from all sort of bad conditions and situation of life. It's my pleasure to be here once again, and let us thank Almighty Allah that we are healthy and fine so far. As we discussed in previous lecture about the industrial psychology's scope, let us today we're going to discuss about the importance of studying of the industrial psychology. So mainly what the subject is focusing on and what is the importance of these subjects, why it is important to be studied in the faculty of economics, since it's the subject of a psychology, a separate social science, but we are going to discuss about the only in these portions we are going to discuss about the only a specialized field of study of psychology, that is industrial psychology or industrial organization psychology, which is also called business psychology for the business students. So we discussed in the previous lecture about the scope. Now let us begin with a new lecture that is about the importance of industrial psychology. As you all better know that the term industrial psychology, it refers to the science of psychology and its application to the working place or working environment. So because of the high demand for industrial psychologists, the field has become one of the most lucrative and well paid within psychology. Those trained and in industrial psychology can find in a variety of fields ranging from research to the upper level of corporations. So specific tasks involve solving problem with employee on a broad scale with their work affecting every level of an organization. So for that purpose then we need to understand about the subjects of industrial psychology. So in case we don't know about the subject of industrial psychology and we are working in an organization where the psychologists are important to be given a task for making a good labor relations, for doing a conflict management, for motivation rules, for leadership rules, and for making the capacity building of the employee in the organizations more effective for the productivity of an organizations, then the industrial psychology should be there, should be recruited there, should be staffed there in order to all the time be in touch with the staff of the organizations to keep them psychologically sound and keep their mental health good enough and they feel better, so the result would also come up nice. So that's why this subjects in the present time has of huge importance in field of the psychology as a concerning subject which is more effective, which has played a more effective roles in the organizations. So the importance of this that we will be discussing about in the points, the first point, that is research. So industrial psychology applies the scientific method to solve problem in the workplace. So this involves tasks such as testing a new methods of completing a task of at select locations to compare the outcome of each technique. So as you know that why we do the research. So we do the research. It means this research is the combination of two composite of or combination of two words That is, one is re, another is search. Re mean again, search mean to. Re mean again, search mean to dig, to probe, to investigate. It means to again and again, to search about, to dig about, to probe about, to investigate about, in order to find a solution to the problems. So when we, the humans, are facing with any sort of problems, then the scientists and the scholars are looking for just to find a solution to that problem. So that's why one of the important points in industrial psychology which shows the importance of these subjects in present time is the research findings. Now, many of the organizations are not doing well, so it should be research. Why they are not doing well enough in their productivity? So why many of the organization has ruined in the past? What was the real cause? The research finding will help us that how to have a good organizations. It's based on the research. So industrial psychology, one of the importance is that is the research. This research is going to develop some new tests, and these new tests and techniques will help us to apply these new tests and techniques and methods in order to complete the many tasks that has been assigned to the employee in the organizations. Second point is hiring. As a result of research, industrial psychologist is always determining what qualities and skill to search for in a potential employees. While they rarely participates in the interview process, so the industrial psychologist may design interview materials and some other strategies which better help them while hiring the new employee in the organizations. So hiring of and recruiting and giving a job and task to the new people in the organizations while we are hiring. In such case, the industrial psychologists are being employed there in a specific positions to help the organizations in the process of recruiting, that to recruit and select the sound mind and those people that their mental health is good. So here we take the advantage of industrial psychologists to help us in hiring of the new staff in the organizations. As well as the third point, that is the designing of task. Now the importance of the third importance of the industrial psychology is designing of task. Now if you are well structured, if you design the structure of a work very good in the right positions, in a very right manner, so that task could be easily achieved by your employee in the organization. If the structure of a task is not very well prepared, so the employee in the organization will also face for achievement of that task to be completed on the specific time. So here what will happen, the stress and anxious situation will take place within the psychology of the employees, and mental health will be disturbed. So designing of a task is another importance of the industrial psychology. It means that the psychologist is going to prepare and structure a well-designed task for the employee. That employee does not come under the pressures. That employee could not come overburdened. It means the work did not become loaded on themselves, on their psychology, that they become depressed, they become stressed, they become anxious. For that reasons, the studying of these subjects will help us to design a better task for the employee in the organizations. So industrial psychologists are frequently tasked with the creating a very standardized test to answer some questions about the employees in their works. This involves an in-depth analysis of each organizations on each questions with a complex statistical programs. The fourth point is applying the test. طوري گفتیم که اهمیتی روانشناسی صنعتی یعنی چه اهمیت داره. گفتیم اگر کسانی که در این رشته تخصص داره متخصصین هستند میتواند یک طرح‌ریزی طرح‌ریزی پلان‌های کاری خود طوری طرح‌ریزی کند که او تاسک و او کار فعالیت‌ها با کارمندا در اداره بسیار آسان باشد که او به دست بیارد. یعنی آسان‌تر می‌سازه کارها را با امپلایی در ارگانیزیشن که در ارگانیزیشن امپلایی موضوعات تحت فشار نبیاید، فشار روانی برش پیدا نشود، تشویش پیدا نشود، کار با آسانی به شکل درست انجام بده، بالاخره هم مفاد اداره به دست بیاید و همچنان کارها به شکل درست به پیش ببرد. اینجا ما وقتی که طرح‌ریزی کارکردگی خدا میبخشین، وقتی که طرح‌ریزی یک پلان میکنیم، پلان را طرح میکنیم به خاطر که کارهای ما به شکل درست انجام بده و سری کارمندای ما هم فشار نبیاید. و احمدی امی اندستری سایکولوژیست ها اینمی هستند. اندستری سایکولوژی یعنی روانشناسی سنتی دنمی هستند. احمدش که میتواند برای ما یک پلتفرم، یک چوکات را ایجاد بکند تا ما بتانیم او را با شکل آسانی در ادارات خود تطبیق بکنیم، هیچ نوع مشکل روانی نداشته باشیم، زیر سر ما فشار نباشد، بالاخره ما بتانیم کارهای خود را به شکل درست به پیش ببریم. ضمن نکته چهارم که هستند او اپلاینگ تست است. طوری که گفتیم که روانشناسای در بخش صنعت کسی که متخصصن اپلش کوشش بکنه از مختلف تست ها و متدها استفاده کنه که از کدام طریق یا میتواند یک سهولت برای کارمندا، یک سهولت برای افراد در کسایی که در کار میکنند در یک اداره ایجاد بکنه تا بتواند اهداف اداره را به شکل درست به دست بیارد و همچنان یا متضرر صحت روانیش نشود. So applying test is the fourth importance of the subjects. That is because of complexity of some test, industrial psychologists choose appropriate test and they conduct the tests and they interpret their result after proctoring a tester. So the psychologist can determine the best course of action to all those problems that the employees or the people are facing with it. So it's a remedy to problems. Applying the test is a remedy to problems. While the next important points about the industrial psychology, Ahmed Digirish Kiasan changed approach on research. So after conducting extensive research and testing, an industrial psychologist can propose a very important changes to a business, and that's why it's in its way of operating with a solid statistical reports. So one of the most important aspects of industrial psychology is that can be used to reduce the counterproductive behaviors and one of the most interesting aspect of this subject is that how the employees behavior affects the other industrial other individual or other employee on the job in the organizations in general. So this industrial psychology can help us. It can be used to reduce to decrease the counterproductive behaviors which enhance the team effectiveness and boost the morality of the employee in the organization. So it is also a very vital subjects for the conflict resolutions. So many individuals find the burdens of their work dissatisfactions rooted in their relationship with the managers and colleagues. So fortunately, industrial psychology finds solution for all these problems. بسیاری از کارمندان ما در اداره که هستند یک نوع مشکل وقتی که ایجاد می شود از منیجمنت سطح بالا یک نوع مشکلات و بعضی منازعات پیدا می شود که به خاطر حل این مشکلات امرای تاپ لیول منیجمنت یا کسانی که در سطح بلند در وظایف تقرر شده یک نوع کنفلیکت اگر در میان کارمندا و یا پیدا می شود در بیان امی کارمند و در بیان امی کسانی که در بلند پایه هستند به خاطر رزولوشن به خاطر حل منازع مشکلات از علم روانشناسی تجارتی ما استفاده میکنیم تا ما بتانیم یک محیطی بسیار بهترین با کارمندای خود را ایجاد بکنیم. So this is what about the importance of industrial psychology. امروز در جهان بسیار یک رول اشکار یک اهمیت اشکار را دارد در هر کمپانی، در هر اداره تجارتی در جایی که پرودکشن صورت میگیرد در بخشش یک روانشناس صنعتی و تجارتی در اوج موجود می باشد که وظیفه ایشان اینمی است که چطور بتواند یک روابطی خوبتر میان کارمندا و افراد بلندپایه چی کنه قایم بسازد تا مشکلات در اوج رفع شود، یک محیط مسنون ایجاد شود، همه از لحاظ روانی که مشکلی نداشته باشد، کارها به شکل درست به پیش ببرد. در اینجا باز ما مکلف به این میشیم که ما از علم روانشناسی سندی باید باخبر باشیم. Now the next important topics about in the industrial psychology that we have chosen is work motivations. انگیزه کار، تشویق به کار. این چطور میدانیم ما با کارمند خود یک انگیزه بهتر بدیم تا او فعالیت خود را به شکل درست انجام بده و تشویق باشد. وقتی که انسان تشویق شد، وقتی که انسان تشویق شد، انگیزه برش داده شد، امی تشویق او انگیزه با مفکوره مثبت باعث کارهای مثبت می شود. بالاخره اداره پیشرفت میکند به خاطری که مثبت اندیشه، مثبت اندیشی، مثبت فکر کردن، مثبت تشویق خود باعث صحت روانی ما می شود که بهتر شود. So work motivation is one of the important points that should be kept in mind, that motivation is the characteristics that help you to achieve your goal. It is the drive that pushes you to work hard and reach whatever it gives. It is that you are after. So motivation, it's a sort of energy which gives you the strength and give you the power to get up and keep going even when things are not going your way. So unfortunately we cannot buy motivations. Motivation is not a piece of chocolates. It's not a piece of it's a piece of thing to be bought. It is to be bought. It is what we give to the people in free of charges, just to motivate them. That's why unfortunately we cannot buy this motivation, but we can give motivations. It is not something that is bottled up and sold in shop. Motivations. This is not the good news, though that we can all cultivate the motivations. The only things we need is a desire to change. We then need to work on ourselves, conquer our fears, and push ourselves forward to reach our desired destinations. As we see that in regard to the motivation, there is a great quotation that the great people are those who make the small people to feel great and perform great. So that is motivations. So motivation is giving a sort of a strength and energy to go ahead and achieve your goals and targets. Motivation is the activation of energization of goal-oriented behaviors. It always gives you a behavior. That behavior is relevant and that is directed and leaded towards the goal. So motivation is said to be the intrinsic or extrinsic. It could be also internally the people are motivated. Sometimes the people are external from the external environment where they are living could be motivated. So according to various theory, motivation may be rooted in the basic need to minimize the physical pain and maximize the pleasure, or it may include specific needs such as eating and resting or undesired object, hobby, goal instead of being a. It is defined differently by different social scientists that motivation is to inspire people to work individually or in groups in the way such as to produce best result. در یک اداره‌ای که تشویق نباشد اداره پیشرفت کردن نمی‌داند. در یک اداره‌ای که انگیزه و تشویق موجود داشته باشد در اوج او اداره خود به خود به طرف ترقی، به طرف سودمندی حرکت می‌کند. خود انگیزه یک تشویش یک نوع قواستن که انسان را راهنمایی میکند به خاطر به طرف به دست آوردن اهداف خود را. خب وقتی که ما در یک اداره کارمندای خود را ما موتیویت میکنیم، تشویق میکنیم، معنی این است که ما یک نوع انرژی میدیم. این موتیویشن که پسان باز ما از طریقه های ورک موتیویشن استفاده میکنیم که از کدام طریق ما میتونیم که کارمند خود را با خاطر جلب کردن و جذب کردن فکرشان با کار خودشان که به شکل درست انجام بده از کدام وسیله استفاده کنیم که یا موتیویت شود. باز پسندان سرشان بحث میکنیم. خو یک دادن یک نوع انرژی به کارمندا خود ما هستند تا امو فکرشان رهبری شود، فکرشان راهنمایی شود به طرف اهداف خودشان که تعیین شده. خب به خاطر به دست آوردن هدف ما به انگیزه ضرورت داریم. مثلا اگر ما تشنه نباشیم پس ما تلاش آبم نمی کنیم. اگر ما گرسنه نباشیم ما پس تلاش نان نمی کنیم. همین قسم اگر ما اهمیت علم را نفهمیم پس ما تلاش هم برایشان نمی کنیم. خب به خاطر تحصیل کردن ما یک سیناریو، یک پس منظر را جور میکنیم و ایره به شکل انگیزه‌ای به یک نفر وقتی که میگیم خود به خود ارزشش میفهمه، بالاخره او تصمیم به این میگیره، یک نوع انرژی در داخل انسان پیدا میشه که حرکت کنه بالاخره او چیز را به دست بیاره. به خاطر موتیویشنز در ادارات چون شخصی باشه غیر شخصی باشه بسیار مهم است. So it is the will to act. Motivation is getting somebody to do something because they want to do it. It was once assumed that motivation had to be injected from outside, but now is understood that everyone is motivated by several different forces. So motivation is a general term which is applied to the entire class of drives, desire, needs, wishes and similar forces. To say that manager motivate their subordinate is to say that they do those things which they hope will satisfy these desire and drives and induce the subordinate to act in a desired manner. To motivate others is the most important management task. It is very important task that how to motivate the other. It is a very complex and a very difficult and complex task. It comprises the ability to communicate, to set an example for others, to challenge, to encourage, obtaining feedback, to involve, to delegate, to develop and train, to inform, to brief and to provide a just reward. It all comes it all comprises the ability. Now, there should be a process of motivation, that from where the motivation start, a process is required. یکی انگیزه و تشویق از کجا شروع میشه، پروسه انگیزه و تشویق چی هستند، این مهم است. ما گفتیم اگر ما احساس گرسنگی نکنیم، احساس تشنگی نکنیم، موتیویشن ایجاد نمیشه. فکر ما با او هدفی که باید به خود تعیین بکنیم که بریم نان پیدا کنیم، بریم آب بخوریم نمیره. وقتی که انسان سیر باشه، گرسنه نباشه، در مورد نان فکر نمیکنه. وقتی که تشنه نباشه، در مورد آب فکر نمیکنه. خب این پروسس چی وقت صورت میشه؟ وقتی که انسان احساس ضرورت بکند. همین قسم در اداره ما کوشش و نیاز به این داریم که ما بفهمیم به چی ضرورت داریم. طبعا ما به این ضرورت داریم که ما اداره ما پیشرفت بکند، اداره ما بهترین باشد، در مارکت نام خاص، جایگاه خاص داشته باشد. پس وقتی که احساس این ضرورت کنیم ما، پس یک نوع موتیویشن، انگیزه در ذهن ما پیدا میشه. به خاطر کسب این باز ما کارمندای خود را ما تشویق میکنیم، انگیزه میدیم برشان که وا کار کند، به همکاری و هماهنگی آنها باز ما هدف اداری خود را به دست بیاریم. So process of motivations, the first thing that is required, needs and desires. So this needs and desires, needs and drive, it is the internal state a person feel in the body, as well as when the person is is impressed from this environment. So this needs and drive produce tension in humans. Then tension should be removed. For the removal of such tensions, the person start the efforts. I mean that first we feel needs, whether that need could be fulfilled from the external environment or whether that is something you felt from internal. No, this needs and this drive become a force, and this leads you to go do the efforts to finally get the targets. Now, needs and drive, if it could not be fulfilled, then it creates the tension. So now, for removing of tension, you need to start your efforts. Try to remove these tensions and satisfy your needs. For that, you will be looking in the environment what opportunity you are having. For finding of opportunity in external environment, then you will have to start the performance. You have to actually do the task practically, start your performance. Now, for achievement of your opportunity, then you will be looking for what that goals and incentive is required for the performance and what ability is required for that performance. Then if you show your capability, you show your ability for performing the task very easily, it means that at the finally you will reach your reward. So this reward is what? This reward is the need satisfactions. It means that this need that you had once in the past by doing the efforts, finally you got the reward. It means that your needs is satisfied. But this process never ends. One needs is satisfied, the next needs will come, another needs is satisfied, the next need will come. So this is a continuous process throughout our life. So this is the process of motivation. It means that for achieving of your targets within organizations, you have to feel first your own needs, what you need in the organizations. Then that needs for completion of, for satisfaction of that needs, then effort should be put into actions that to do a great performance, and that great performance will bring you a great results then. So in this initiations, a person start feeling lackness. There is an arousal of needs so urgent that the barrier has to venture in search to satisfy this leads to creation of tension, which urges the person to forget everything else and cater to aroused need first. This tension also creates drives and attitudes regarding the types of satisfaction, but that is not the only desire. Once the desire is fulfilled, next will start. This leads to a person to venture into search of informations. So ultimately, this will lead to the evaluation of alternative, where the best alternative is chosen. After choosing the alternative, an action is taken. Because of performance of the activity, satisfaction is achieved. وقتی که شما یک رای بدیل را به خاطر رفع کردن مشکل خودتان یا به خاطر رفع کردن نیازهای خودتان شما دست به کار شوید، شما مکلف به این میشین که یک فعالیت خود را انجام بدین و او فعالیت باعث رضایت خودتان میشه که شما رضایت را به دست بیارین. در اینجا وقتی که انسان رضایت خود را به دست بیاد، یک نوع آرامش به انسان پیدا می شود، تنشن از بین می رود. مثال motivation, example of motivation process. need more money, we need for more money. ما با پول زیاد ضرورت داریم. یک ضرورت است که میتونیم توسط پول ما ضرورت‌های روزمره زندگی خود باز به شکل درست انجام بدیم. پس اینجا وقتی که ما با پول ضرورت داریم، ما احساس ضرورت پول کردیم، goal oriented behavior ما با یک هدف خاص طرف سوق می شود، رهنمایی می شود. ما مثلا ask for raise، ما مثلا می خواهیم که خاص به خاطر یک کاری بکنیم، یا مقام را به دست بیاریم، یا پول را پیدا بکنیم، یا مثلا بخوایم که پروموشن بکنیم، ترقی بکنیم، یا مثلا بگوییم که ما یک وظیفه خود بهترین پیدا کنیم که معاش زیاد داشته باشد. امی خودی که هستند، امی فعالیت هایی که ما انجام میدیم به خاطر این اهداف ای هستند goal oriented behavior ما شما. بالاخره اگر ما به این هدف خود برساندیم، معنی است که need satisfactions، ضرورت ما چی میشه؟ رفع میشه. ضرورت ما رفع میشه، بالاخره ما need satisfaction ما چی است؟ more money، پول زیاد به دست میآید. یعنی یگانه چیزی که در ادارات ما برایشان ضرورت داریم ورک، به خاطر که فعالیت‌ها به شکل درست انجام شود در ادارات، ورک موتیویشن هستند. So if you want to work on the psychology of your employees, and you wish from them, you desire from them to do their great task and great job in the organization, and finally the productivity become increased, then work motivation should be there in the course of their work. If work motivation does not take place in the organization, so organizations sooner or later fail in their targets achievements. For that reason, it is very much important that we, being as a owner of the companies or being manager of any business activity, the managing director of any business activity, should have to keep our all employees to be motivated, solve their problems, make them always happy, so that will give us a good result. So this was today's lecture. Inshallah, in the coming lecture we will go in details about work motivations. We will talk about the theory and types of motivations and the challenges that make a some challenges for motivations in the organizations. In the next topic we will talk about it. So far whatever we have taught, if you have faced any sort of problems, if you have got any sort of questions, let me once again remind you to contact me through the WhatsApp number. I am in your service. Be protected and stay safe in place. Stay safe and blessed and happy. Allah Hafiz. Wish you all the best. Have a great day ahead.